The Republican Party has become the party of suicide bombers. I mean, you go back to January 20th, 2009, the day President Obama was first inaugurated. 14 Republicans got together in a private room at the Caucus Room restaurant here in Washington, D.C., literally the backside of the building I was living in, or I lived in a year later, and hatched a plan to sabotage the Obama presidency at every opportunity, no matter how much damage it would do to the American people. I mean, the guest list for this 4-hour invitation-only meeting were Republican Congressman Eric Cantor, Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy, Pete Sessions, Jeb Henseling, Pete Hoekstra, Dan Lundgren, Republican Senators John Kyle, Jim DeMint, who's now the chairman of the Heritage Foundation. A few just vanished from my view. Oh, Tom Coburn, John Ensign, Bob Corker, and also Frank Luntz, the Republican propaganda guru, was there. And Newt Gingrich. In fact, he came on this program and talked about it. He admitted it. And during that dinner, the Republican conspirators vowed to bring Congress to a standstill, regardless of how badly congressional interaction might hurt the American people or the American economy. In essence, they pledged to each other to obstruct, to filibuster and block any legislation that might improve the economy and make President Obama look good, which is what Ted Cruz is doing right now. Congressman Pete Sessions told the National Journal in March of 2009 that the Republican sabotage plan hatched at the Caucus Room restaurant would borrow a page from the tactics of Taliban terrorists. He said, and I'm quoting United States Republican Congressman Pete Sessions, quote, Taliban insurgency. We understand perhaps a little more because of the Taliban. Insurgency is the way they went about systematically understanding how to disrupt and change a person's entire processes. And these Taliban, this is an example of how you go about changing a person from their messaging to their operations to their frontline message. And we need to understand that insurgency may be required when dealing with the Democrats on the other side. The Texas Republican went on to say, if the Democrats do not give us those options or opportunities, then we will become the insurgency. I think insurgency is a mindset and an attitude. Fast forward to today, we got the debt ceiling, the looming government shutdown, 7 days away. There's no chance that the Democrats are going to agree to defund Obamacare. But Ted Cruz is still leading his Taliban-style suicide bomber charge to shut down the government if Obamacare isn't defunded. In fact, here, let's listen to another couple seconds of him. Here he is.
To raise their kids, raise them with good values. Makes it easier for them to provide good education for their kids.
Okay, again, nothing about Obamacare.
And when you have one job, it lets you begin to climb the economic ladder to a better job and a better job and a better job.
Right, so why not give people jobs like the WPA
spirit.
and the CCC, you know?
And yet we have tens of millions of people in this country out of work.
Yeah, thanks to Republican policies.
We get the reports from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
32 years of Reaganomics.
That says even more people have given up looking for work.
Well, actually, a lot of them are retiring.
Unemployment statistics work. That makes unemployment, the number the newspapers report, go down. Because when a...
Okay, Ted Cruz, demonstrating that figures don't lie, but liars can figure. The fact of the matter is, right now, we are seeing one of the most rapid movements out of the labor force in the last 50 years. And it's because the baby boomers are hitting 65 and they're retiring. I mean, there are people who are giving up and not looking for work anymore. But when they say the workforce shrunk by, I think last month it was a little over 180,000 people, a significant chunk of those people simply are no longer in the workforce because they hit 65 and started taking Social Security. But anyhow, Cruz's plan is so crazy that even the editorial page of the Wall Street Journal, which typically leans crazy itself, compared his efforts to, quote, a charge into the fixed bayonets, end quote, which, of course, is exactly what the Taliban would do. Cruz's plan to shut down the government is just the latest version of the Taliban insurgency plan that Pete Sessions and his fellow Republican activists hatched back on January 20th, 2009 at the Caucus Room restaurant. Chattanooga Times Free Press has this incredible cartoon. Shows Ted Cruz on the floor of the Senate pulling open his jacket, and inside are all these sticks of dynamite. And he's like a suicide bomber, and he's shouting, "Ayn Rand Akbar!" Right, Ted Cruz, suicide bomber, on the floor of the House. Here he is.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
Here he goes.
You know, just a week ago, the Wall Street Journal had a long...